show. Wait for people to get in.
Please welcome
Lost in emotion, mama's youngest. Trying to navigate life without my compass. Some experience death and feel numbness. But not me, I felt it all and couldn't function. Seeing you that day, telling you my plans, but I was leaving you that day. It was in God's hands. Yeah, it was at Elon's waiting to get with me. On my way to Texas, that's when Virginia hit me. And I realized in that instant, our last conversation, you was against it. Told you I was going to Turks for Thanksgiving. I heard what I wanted to hear, but didn't listen. You said you told Gene that Buck needed forgiveness. I see you went to Didi's and stuffed both her fridges. You even told Dad you wished y'all never split it. So you were checking boxes, I was checking my mentions. Saying you was tired but not ready to go. Basically was dying without letting me know. I love you, Mad Nige. Hate that he won't remember you. Two things that break my heart is what Novembers do. And T follows you. Now mind you, Didi calls you. Gene finds you. Was that your vision? Precision. While I'm reminiscing, it all hits different. Ma, listen.
the birds don't sing. The birds don't sing, they screech and cry. Yeah, yeah. The birds don't sing. The birds don't sing, they screech and cry. Yeah.
Y'all like you had this.
The birds don't sing. The birds don't sing, they screech and cry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your car was in the driveway, I knew you were home. By the third knock, a chill ran through my bones. The way you miss mama, I guess I should've known. Chivalry ain't dead, you ain't let her go alone. Found you in the kitchen, scriptures in the den. Half-written text that you never got to send. Combing through your dresser drawer, where do I begin? Posting noted Bible quotes, were you preparing then? I can hear your voice now, I can feel your presence. Asking should I rap again, you gave me your blessing. The way you spelled it out, there's an L in every lesson. Boy, you owe it to the world, let your mess become your message. Shared you with my friends, the pops you never had. You lived for our fishing trips, damn I had a dad. Mine taught discipline, mine taught structure. Mine didn't mind when he had to pull a double. Mine worked overtime, smiled through the struggle. But mine wouldn't let us feel what he had to suffer. See, mine made sure he had every base covered. So imagine his pain finding bass in the cupboard. Birds don't sing if the words don't sting. Your last few words in my ear still ring. You told me that you loved me, it was all in your tone. I love my two sons was the code to your phone. Now you're home.
The birds don't sing. The birds don't sing, they screech and cry. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the birds don't sing. The birds don't sing, they screech and cry. Yeah, yeah. The birds don't sing. The birds don't.
Yeah, this is my first time seeing that. I knew that they did that yesterday. I kind of seen a little clip, small clip of it, but I didn't watch the video at the time. So yeah, shout out to the clips, man. I mean, I guess this rollout has been flawless. It's been very, very, very flawless. And even after the album has dropped, all the moves they made, the videos they released. I think they got a song out there with Jid. It's been flawless execution by the clip so far. And I think they're, as most people know, it's not a hot take, but they're in the, front seat. They're in the lead seat for, rap album of the year easily, quite frankly, how I feel. Now, I know a lot of people fuck with that Chance. A lot of people fuck with Freddie Gibbs album and the Jid album. And there's some other great albums that have dropped this year. Or I should say good albums. But this Clips album just has that feel. First off, shout out to Hov, because these niggas is at the Vatican. And them performing at the Vatican is crazy. Like the Vatican is one of the most holiest places, secure places, sought after place. It's a tourist attraction. It's the fucking Vatican. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of secrets to be dug up at the Vatican. The Vatican holds so many of scientific exploration secrets and different discoveries. Also different ancient texts and stuff. Manuscripts, all types of stuff like that is at the Vatican. It's one of the great places to go visit and see. If you're into that kind of archaeology, anthropology, theology, if you're into any of those kind of things, the Vatican is obviously at one of the top lists of places to go and see and read up on. So for them to perform at the Vatican, that got Jay-Z written all over it to me. That got Jay-Z written all over. And if we remember, the Clips had to shop around this album that they dropped, Let God Sort Them Out, which is a funny name today, right? But they had to shop this album around because Universal, colluded into not wanting to distribute their new release because they feared that they got wind that there was a Kendrick feature on there and it just didn't look like good optics, and they were trying to protect their asset in Drake, which is why I don't know why Drake is continuing this lawsuit, which is ridiculous. But the Clips didn't want to be censored, and they didn't want Kendrick censored, so they got out of their contract. They bought out of their contract. This album we were supposed to get this album actually last year. But they had to handle some of their business. But anyways, they signed to Rock Nation, which I think is a good move for them anyway, right up their avenue. And I don't think it's no coincidence that them signing to Rock Nation or through Def Jam, they have this flawless rollout. And then even like I said at the top, all the moves that they made even after the album and stuff has just been so in sync and so like really, really good. And this is at the top of the list. Again, them performing at the Vatican is fucking crazy. I mean, let me see. You see, I don't know if that's a choir behind it. Oh, okay, I think it's a choir.
Sing, they screech and pain. They screech and pain. Birds don't sing. Birds don't sing. They screech and pain.
Am I wrong? Because I always wondered why, there's not more artists that perform in Cairo at the pyramids and shit like that. But am I tripping in saying that I believe maybe in 2023 or 2022, didn't Travis Scott perform at the pyramids? I'm pretty sure he performed at the pyramids. And I think that more artists should, let me share my screen. I feel like more artists should incorporate more of those, like that ambiance of different world wonders or different beautiful architectural buildings. There's plenty of places for them to be able to perform at, and I just feel like more artists should incorporate that in their art, because it kind of adds to the performance. The fact that you're fucking at the Vatican performing in front of the Catholics and all this shit is kind of crazy. But yeah, shout out to the Clips, shout out to Jay-Z again. They're my early favorite. Well, I guess we're late into the year. We're into September, and I mean, unless somebody comes in the fourth quarter, we're really inching towards the fourth quarter in hip hop. Unless somebody comes in the fourth quarter and really drops one, I don't even think I don't know who in hip hop. The only person in hip hop that would be slated to drop that could potentially top this Clips album, to me, that has the big enough name, that has the team behind them to do something. I'm talking about videos, rollout, performances, impact, sale, all of that stuff, is potentially J. Cole. But I don't know where J. Cole is because here we are in September. And, we haven't heard much as far as the fall off goes for this year. So it was rumored to be releasing this year, probably at the end of the year, but I haven't seen the rollout. I haven't seen anything start. But as we know, that can happen pretty fast. Like rollouts only take a few weeks at this point, or people roll out albums within 3 or 4 days nowadays. They change their profile picture on Instagram or Twitter to a black screen. Everybody goes into frenzy, and then they may drop a link of a single, and then from there, the rollout begins, and it's a 2 to 3 day rollout, and then they drop their album. So J. Cole very much well could be dropping at the end of the year, but he's the only one that I think could really top this Clips album, if there is somebody to top this Clips album. But I don't predict that happening. I don't predict that being the case at all. So yeah, again, shout out to the Clips. And speaking of, I hope my stream doesn't get fucking copyright. It's probably gonna get copyright, and that kind of fucking reminds me that I can't believe, man, that we're gonna sit around and allow these sports that we've given them billions and billions and billions of dollars of ad dollars, sponsorships and shit like that. Hey, y'all know I got plenty problems of corporations and kind of how it funnels through to the consumer, has been one of my big problems for forever. So I'm probably preaching to the choir, and you guys have probably heard me say this again. But the fact that we're just allowing the NFL, who, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago, before Jay-Z, again, Hov being involved in some more shit, before Jay-Z kind of gave them the black cosign on our behalf without our permission, with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, with the we're past kneeling and taking over the sports halftime show, which we haven't even got that announcement yet. We have not gotten the announcement on who is going to be the Super Bowl halftime performance. And I believe at this point last year, it was already announced that Kendrick was going to be the halftime performer. So, and I think the year before that, they had announced that Rihanna was going to be the halftime performer, or Usher. So it usually comes in September, but we haven't gotten that yet, which is very, very interesting. That's something to keep an eye on who they choose to be the halftime performer this year, and why it's taking so long to get that announcement out. I bet there's a lot of, we know Jay-Z and Rock Nation was under fire over choosing Kendrick Lamar. In fact, during this lawsuit, Drake has sued UMG, he has sued Jay-Z, Rock Nation, he has sued the NFL. He's literally sued everybody that he feels is involved in this whole conspire to take him out or help promote the song Not Like Us. So I think they're dealing with some of that fallout with that lawsuit, and trying to get some of their ducks in a row, and because I'm sure that they're going to be given a petition and having to provide documents stating that they weren't colluding with Kendrick Lamar to destroy Drake. So, but really interesting to see if we get an announcement out of Rock Nation soon on who's going to be the Super Bowl halftime performer. But back to the topic at hand, which is the fact that just in 2019, when black people, when niggas were supposed to be boycotting the NFL, I could have sworn the NFL was doing everything in their power to amend this relationship, which is why they ended up getting in bed with Hov, because Hov is a leader in our space, and some people say Hov sold us out, which you can make an argument for, because here we are, and I just feel like as the consumers of this space, and also the NFL being predominantly black as well, now not the ownership. Not any of the ownership. We all know about kind of like the boule and kind of the constituents in NFL ownership and how they kind of blackball people. We know that Jerry Jones is the ringleader, the racist ringleader when it comes to all that. But I'm just talking about from a pirating point of view, man. Like, this streaming shit is nuts. And I know some of my friends is going to get on here and say, oh, we don't care, you're being dramatic. It's always been like this, and I'll save it. No, it hasn't. The fact that I have to go from app to app to app to app to app to watch a regular NFL game that would be premiering just on Fox or CBS or anything like that. I can't even watch a Cleveland's Brown games, bro. Like, you got to have Hulu for this, and then you got to have Amazon Prime for that. And everything's behind these different paywalls, and it's just so ridiculous, man. And it's to the point with everything where it's like, the reason why a lot of people take a stand on certain things because it be the principle in certain things. And it's like, if we don't draw a line here, where does the line stop? And that's how I feel with this NFL shit. It's like they keep inching closer and closer towards literally putting every game behind the paywall. Every single game in the NFL is going to be behind a paywall. And they're going to eventually, I believe, make it, and they were in concert or in conversations in doing this, and maybe this would be a little bit better in my view. But I know that there's the NFL Sunday ticket, but even the NFL Sunday ticket doesn't cover all games. I believe, like, if you have games in your local jurisdiction, kind of like the NBA League Pass, if you have games in your local jurisdiction, it'll have a blackout, and so you need to have the NFL Sunday ticket, and then you need to have your local cable provider as well for you to get for you to be able to stream your local games, and like depending on what state you're in. And it's just like, now we're seeing, we know, I think, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, the NFL put the Christmas game on, they put the Christmas game on Netflix. And then I know people are saying, well, it's no different because, like, they added an extra game. So like, they're still giving you the same amount of games that they giving you before. They just added an extra game. So if they want to put it behind a paywall, more power to them. And I'm just saying that's the shit that I'm talking about that drives me crazy. It's like, no, they absolutely should. They're setting us up. They're trying to get you used to something so that way when they take it back or when they reduce something or pirate something or put it all behind a paywall, you're going to be more likely to just, get on your knees and give them whatever they want. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of people are just willing to cough up so much money with this NFL situation. I got a comment. Hold on, let's see. Oh, no. A lot of people are willing to just give up. I mean, I think it's costing upwards of like $700 for you to be able, maybe a little bit under $700 for you to be able to watch every NFL game. Now, granted, again, a lot of that, a big portion of that is if you want to purchase the NFL Sunday ticket, which was always an extra charge anyway. But the fact that I'm telling y'all that it is not as accessible to watch a regular game on Fox Sports or CBS or NBC, I should say, any of those sites is alarming to me. And I already know where this leads, man. Again, they give you the taste, they give you, your little sugar, and they give you a little sample, which was our sample was the last, all this time that we had free syndicated sports on your television, just on local television. You didn't need to really have, the best cable and all that shit like that. The NFL, you are able, our grandparents, our uncles, aunties, and all that shit. When the Cleveland Browns came on, you were able to watch the fucking Cleveland Browns. Pretty fairly easy. Now it is not the same. It is not the same. I got my OGs, I got uncles calling me. I got my parents calling me, trying to figure out where the game is and where they can find the game. The Sunday night games are on Amazon Prime or on Peacock, and then Thursday games are on Amazon Prime. It's just ridiculous. And we're just seeing the NFL be greedy, and sneaky and underhanded in how they're doing it. This isn't just a thing with the NFL either. I believe like basketball is trying to do it, and they would have done it if they haven't lost their leverage with their viewers. But unfortunately, the NBA has lost a lot of leverage with its viewers. And partially, some of the reasons why they have lost leverage with their viewers is, look at this. Earlier this week, you had Adam Silver in a press conference. Now, I'm not one of those people that like to take things out of context and shit like that, like y'all been doing with other people. But, for the sake of time, I'm just going to play this 30-second clip of what Adam Silver said so you can get kind of understanding. And if you've been following this page and my channel and you know me, that you know that I've been telling you guys this is how this clown felt. This is how this reptilian lizard felt the whole time anyway. And let's see here. I got it right here. So this is Adam Silver.
There's a huge amount of our content that people can essentially consume for free. I mean, this is very much a highlights-based
my volume's fucked up.
Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service, the New York Times for that matter, to the extent that your content is not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example, that is advertising based that consumers can consume.
All right, so I don't know if everybody was able to hear that. I apologize, but essentially what we have here is Adam Silver, who I call the terrorist of the NBA. I mean, literally, David Stern has to be rolling over in his grave. And I know I have my own critiques and criticisms of David Stern, but I was a young boy at the time. And I know that David Stern ruled the NBA with an iron fist. That's what I do know. He ruled it with an iron fist. And I just seen something crazy. But, for better or worse, the David Stern era in the NBA was a lot better than this. This Adam Silver era, coupled with the LeBron James era, has been literally a disaster. They have literally just shot holes and cut the legs out of everything that all the previous greats and everything the NBA built before. That's what the NBA is doing. Literally between all the sponsorship ad deals on the court, the lawlessness in the players, just the recklessness. I mean, the NBA is literally just a mess. It's a big AAU tournament these days. The NBA is literally a mess. And this isn't just my take on it. Now, people can get on here and argue and say, oh, my God, the NBA, the skill is better than it's ever been and all that shit like that. I'm talking about from a league perspective. I'm talking about from a business model perspective. The NBA is not in good shape at all right now. So, with that being said, Adam Silver isn't able to go to sponsors and make these TV deals, because right now, when they do those sponsors and TV deals, they're looking for like 5-10 year plans, right? Those cable deals, they're usually like 10 years, 7-10 year plans. And it's like a lot of those people are looking at the sport like, we don't know what the state of the NBA is going to be in the next 10 years at all. Especially with the way it's going, we definitely, you're getting ready to lose LeBron James, you're getting ready to lose Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and all of these prominent names that are literally holding the league up right now. And the NBA is struggling trying to find a new star to take on that mantle. I read today that SGA, the NBA has talked to SGA and asked him if he can shorten his name, maybe abbreviate his name. I know he goes by SGA, but they're talking about for jersey sales, if he could just take out the hyphenated name, maybe, and just put Shea Alexander or Shea Gilgeous, because they said that they lost $2 million in business revenue just due to stitching on his jersey. So SGA's jersey stitching has cost the NBA $2 million in potential revenue. So I say that to say, like, they've been struggling with trying to find the next star. Giannis Antetokounmpo flopped. Luka flopped. Now they're running with Cooper Flag. Wemby flopped. Zion flopped. All of these European and other type of players that they've tried to push down our throats, they haven't taken the mantle from LeBron or Curry. So the NBA is in a pure state of uncertainty. But you have this clown here. He shoots himself in his foot. And first off, he looks like a big toe. He drives me crazy. He's always driven me crazy. But it's the shit that he says. It's not only the shit. Oh, Malik, I'm sorry, I didn't see your comments. Malik said the last 2 weeks, Ohio State games haven't been on local TV. They've been on apps. It was Fox apps last week and Peacock this week. LOL, paywalls here and it ain't going nowhere. I agree. Shout out to you, Malik. And you're exactly right. And I just think that more people need to be a little bit more cognizant on what's going on, because we as the consumers have the power to dictate the market. And people always forget that until they don't. You guys got to remember that a lot of the civil rights movement was spearheaded by economic blackouts. And a lot of different movements in our history, in our social history, has been spearheaded by economic blackouts. And what that always has done, and what that always shows, is that the power with the people lies in their pockets. So, or with their checkbook. So when the viewers start dropping, or when we boycott, if we boycotted this NFL model, and I know everybody's gonna say, "Oh, that's unrealistic," and nigga, hey, we ain't doing that shit. Shut the fuck up. Good, granted, cool. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is we're going down this hallway, or going down this path that there's going to be no turning around until I'm gonna hear in 2 years, like it always happens with me. I'm gonna hear in 2 years from y'all that y'all are so sick, maybe 2 to 3 years, that this is ridiculous, and then the NFL is criminals and crooks and they're robbing us for our money. But it's gonna be 2 or 3 years for y'all. I'm just telling y'all in the early stages that I see what they're doing, and it would be a better chance of us stopping it today than it will be in 2 to 3 years. That's what I'm trying to say. So just understand that the NFL has adopted this paywall model with sports, live sports. The NBA is attempting to adopt this model. They're not able to, only because they're not able to sell their sport as well as the NFL, obviously. But you also have Adam Silver here, who basically said to all you broke ass niggas out there and all you poor bitches out there, just shut the fuck up. That's what he basically said. He said that, we are a highlight sport, which is, I've never heard a commissioner call their sport a highlight sport. That's just disrespectful to the players in the sport. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't do you no favors as a commissioner. Kind of promoting your sport as a highlight sport is insane. Now, I understand what he meant in that the fact that the NFL, the NBA has become a highlight sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, I call them box score watchers. Now, with the NFL, you have more avid watchers, people that used to tune in on the radios and listen to the games and play-by-play and people that actually watch the NFL. The NFL isn't as much as a highlight sport as the NBA. The NBA has suffered because it is a highlight sport. A lot of people do not watch the games. A lot of people watch a 5-minute reel on TikTok, or even a 30-second reel on TikTok or on YouTube, which is not my, this isn't me saying it. This is what Adam Silver, the commissioner, has said. He said you can find highlights on YouTube and these other social platforms, and a lot of our viewers come from that, which I do agree. But the question needs to be, why is that, and is that a good model? And now I know there's been a whole thing with people saying that that's just kind of the way of the future, and people have a lack of attention span. So maybe that is a good model. But I personally, I think it's detrimental to the entire sport of it. And like, a lot of these guys are getting paid billions, not billions, but millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, at this point, literally close to hundreds of millions of dollars per year for these sports. And I mean, I can go on a whole diatribe about that because here we are as a country, $36 trillion in debt. Here we are with social reform. I think there's 12,000 people in the healthcare field that's about to be laid off potentially with the passing of the big, beautiful bill and these different administrative bills going through. I'm talking about United Healthcare CEOs being assassinated because there's insurance scams left and right in this nation, where insurance companies are denying people who are eligible for these insurance premiums to be covered in whatever it is that they need to be covered, but insurances are denying them for no rhyme or reason. Also, the housing industry, the housing market, same thing. You know what I'm saying? You got the people out in Altadena and in LA who had the wildfires at the beginning of the year that still, I think 1 or 2 permits have been passed to rebuild these homes there. And they're dealing with the fire companies who had denied them and cut them off a week or 2 before the fires. So there's all these different kind of things of social reform going on in the country. And also the teachers union. You guys remember in 2021, I think that the teachers there's the teacher strike, and then there was the writing strike. All of this shit is all leading up to this point that we're at today as a nation. And here you got athletes getting paid more and more. Now, granted, the athletes are bringing in a lot of revenue. They're generating, each business model is its own ecosystem. So I do understand this. I do understand that the athletes are getting paid via a percentage of their pie that they're bringing in their entity. So, but these subsidized things like social teacher union and different stuff like that, I just feel like there's a way that we can kind of divvy out more fairly all of the dollars that flow through the economy. There's no way that athletes should be being paid $75 million a year and teachers are still on a $40,000 salary. It's just, it doesn't make sense. And there's no way you could convince me. And I read and I understand how the models work. Trust me, I understand. But I'm just saying, as a sane society or a productive society that is supposed to be firm and concrete, there's no way that business model would continue in a society and that society be successful. Now, on the flip side, I got to play devil's advocate. One could say that what would you do in the case of, because a lot of people make the claim that the NBA kind of started to reach is the degeneracy when athletes start getting paid all these big bucks, because you get the spoiled athlete, right? So one can make the claim that would be the same in the field of the medical field. If you got a nurse making, $50 million a year, it could get to dangerous territories as far as how that industry starts to play out. You know what I'm saying? I could see that, but I'm just saying there has to be some sort of balance when it comes to that. But yeah, ultimately, the whole paywall thing that Malik, that you talked about, that I talked about on here, it's something that it needs to be highlighted a lot more, what the NFL is doing in this model that they're doing. And also that the NBA is trying to do this. MLB and these other sports, it'd be interesting to see kind of how they do this model. But I know the NBA really, really wants to, because if there's one thing we know about Adam Silver is he is about that green. Adam Silver is about that money, but he seems to be to me, he seems to be a motherfucker that likes to spend a lot of money, or he really seems to me ultimately that he's laissez-faire. He's somebody that can't control the league. He's not good at managing this league at all. He's a pushover, he's a run over, and the league's just running rampant over him. I mean, contracts are crazy. The list goes on and on. So with Adam Silver, although he wants to do this model, I don't think he'll be as successful as the NFL, obviously, at this model. And I think this is a perfect example of why, because sometimes he shoots himself in the foot and getting into the mind of a commissioner that says that his sport is a highlight sport. That is not a commissioner you want running your sport. You know what I'm saying? Just objectively. And I feel like because I believe that the owners of these franchises, like all the NBA teams, they vote. It's like council votes, on who's the commissioner, and they can oust the commissioner. So, like, I think that there at some point that needs to be looked into. And I know I've joked a lot on here about getting rid of Adam Silver because I had read like 2 years ago that he was doing some bids for Disney and trying to work over at Disney. And I was just like, man, sayonara, see you later. Like, can't wait for this clown to leave because he is a horrible commissioner. I think he's literally, not only is he the worst commissioner in sports, but he's the worst commissioner that I can think of in a long time. I know baseball's had their struggle. And there's other, different major sports that have had their struggle, especially with commissioners and also like collusion and different kind of legal stuff that was going on in sports. But I'm talking about somebody that was literally handed a kingdom. This man inherited an NBA at the height of the Golden State and Cavaliers rivalry. LeBron James and Stephen Curry. This is the NBA he inherited from David Stern. And he inherited an NBA on the backs of a Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan in that 90s class that was retiring as Adam Silver was coming up. He inherited this whole league. And from that moment till now, he's done nothing. The NBA has done nothing but progressively gotten worse. Every single year has progressively gotten worse and worse and worse. And the viewings, the ratings have shown and reflected what I'm saying. It's horrible across the board. But not too much on Adam Silver. I don't want to do too much on Adam Silver. Switching gears. Let me see what else I got today. I ain't gonna keep y'all too long because I know the NFL. We got the Steelers coming on at 1. We could talk about opening week. I thought that I said a couple weeks ago that the Thursday night game was kind of whack, but I think today we get the Eagles and Chiefs. That's going to be obviously an interesting game, a rematch. Now I think because the Chiefs lost their first game, the Chiefs lost their first game, and if I'm not mistaken, they have had like an 11 or 10-day break. So I got the Chiefs winning this game against the Eagles. I think it'd be really, really interesting to see the Chiefs start 0-2, but I could also see that happening. I could see the Chiefs starting off 0-2. I can really see them starting off like 1-3 and it being a big deal. I can really see that with the Chiefs, but that was not my early season prediction for the Chiefs. I thought that they were going to have maybe like a 12-5 type year, and Patrick Mahomes was going to send a blitz. Now we're early on. That very much well can happen, but I just feel like we're due for a statistically great Patrick Mahomes season. He hasn't given us one in the last couple years. We know he's given us 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl win in the last couple of years, but I'm just talking about individual statistically great years. He hasn't given us that in quite some time. So I just feel like we're due for that. Now we'll see. The Steelers got off to a good start. It was against the Jets. So we'll see. I thought that the game on Thursday was pretty good. Green Bay does look really good. I know a lot of people are not that high on Jordan Love. But the Packers seem to be high on Jordan Love. And there's other like insiders close to the sport of the NFL. They seem to be high on Jordan Love. Here's the thing with Jordan Love. He's one of the players where I can't get a good grasp on. I don't know if I haven't seen enough Jordan Love film or games, but I just remembered that like 2 years ago, his stock was pretty high. They made the playoffs and shit. Last year, his stock kind of dwindled. And then now this year, they seem to have a good team. They seem to have everything in place. And now I'm seeing people talk about Super Bowl, maybe not Super Bowl win, but like, sorry. I'm seeing people talk about Super Bowl predictions. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know that they did look good on Thursday night. I'm trying to think of who else kind of stood out. Listen, let me tell y'all something. The Bills, it's the same fucking story with the Bills. I don't know why we do this every year with the Bills. In fact, when they have these type of games where they come back in the last few seconds and then the crowd goes crazy and somebody kicks a field goal or there's a crazy Josh Allen, he spins out of a sack and then throws it deep to somebody and then they win the game. I feel like I've seen this story maybe 15 times with the Bills, which is credit to Josh Allen. But I'm just saying they're the same team every year. And then like we go through this like whole psychosis state and we forget that this is the same team. Like they've already done this. They won last week's game, which after they was like losing the whole game and looked like they were overmatched. And then they win in the last few seconds. And then everybody's saying like, oh my God, this team is really like a Super Bowl contending team. Like we really got to, look out for the Bills and Josh Allen might be the best player in the league and all this. I'm like, hold on. Let me read your comment, Malik. I got to read your comment. Oh, Tanksley in the chat. He said nurses and teachers have to do a lockout like players, like you said. You have to force change. For sure. But they did do that. Man, I seen something, and I really got fact checked this because I don't know how true it is, but it kind of makes sense. We knew that during the COVID situation, I think there was a year and a half where the people that was in school that, they had to go virtual, due to the shutdowns and stuff like that. And a lot of people's criticism was we don't know the long-term effects that this may have. So that's been the course in the country for a long time. We understand that. But I read something where the literacy rate, like they had a graph from 2013 to 15 to 17 to 19, like I think 2-year increments or some shit like that. And the literacy rate was like, I'm talking about like 11% for 12th grade potential graduates, like 11%. I wish I was really good on the desktop and shit to find this literacy rate. What is the literacy rate in the U.S.? Okay, the literacy rate in the U.S. varies significantly depending on definition, blah, blah, blah. More functional measurement shows that in 2023, 28% of U.S. adults scored at or below level 1 literacy, indicating difficulty with everyday reading and tasks. Approximately 59 million adults struggle with basic literacy. Like that's ridiculous, bro. Like it's so ridiculous. 28% literacy rate. And that's including adults and stuff like that. Like I said, I believe the literacy rate for 12th graders, literacy rate for, let me see, high school students. Okay. No, this says 37%. But even then, 2024 reading scores for high school seniors were the lowest in the history of the assessment, which began in 1992. In 2019, there was 70% 12th graders were at above or basic reading level. So, I mean, it's just dwindling away, the literacy rate. And we see that trickling through, society, man, just with people's ability to kind of interpret things, comprehend things. And a lot of that is, based off of cell phone technology as well. And just the fact that answers and everything is so accessible at our hands that we don't have to use any critical thinking skills, which then limits the amount of gray matter that is placed on the brain, which, helps constitute, different things like creativity and all of those kind of functions of the brain. And there's studies being done about the avid effect of artificial intelligence and memory loss. There's direct correlations between memory loss and artificial intelligence. Obviously, also memory loss and the concept of the phones. I think as a species, there's studies being done that just over the period of time, as we've started to rely on our cell phones as much, we've lost a lot of our memory capability as well. Like you talk to people, older people that was just around for rotary phones and all those kind of things. They obviously, we know they remember directions a lot better than us. They know east, south, north, and west a lot better than us. And we've talked about this on here. But I'm just saying, like, we got to be careful in this alley that we're choosing to take when it comes to merging with artificial intelligence and also merging with different technological advances, because the person that controls the entity or the licensing of these artificial intelligence, they're very smart. But like as they begin to roll these different things out, it's the dumbing of the American people and people all across the globe. So like the spectrum is getting so wide between the powerful person who controls these models, the artificial intelligence models, versus the everyday citizen. If literacy is that low in America right now, but we're at the height of technological advances, what does that tell you? That's very alarming. That society, while it's at the height of technological advances, is the dumbest it's may ever been. That is not a good spectrum to be at. You know what I'm saying? It's a very dangerous spectrum to be at. And again, it directly correlates to a lot of the links between us merging with artificial intelligence or any technology. Does that dumb down our species? And I think it does, me personally, but it's a question to be asked. And let me see. That kind of reminds me that here we have, I don't know if you guys have kept up on it, but one of the things is that there really needs to be like some sort of blockchain on artificial intelligence, and it obviously needs to be decentralized. In the sense where the reason why OpenAI was such a big deal is because it's called OpenAI. And in fact, Elon and Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, well, they both founded it, but Elon, got out of it and started his own shit. But Sam Altman and Elon, a lot of their beef that's going on right now with this lawsuit that they have against each other is based off of the fact that OpenAI, that model of OpenAI was supposed to be like decentralized. It's supposed to be an open model to where it's not a profiting or profitable like business model, a regular business model. Because once those things start to happen, then you run the risk of like who's to draw the lines with these things. And I beg this question on here a lot. Let me check my comments to see if the founder of ChatGPT, have you watched the Tucker Carlson and Sam Altman interview? If not, go watch it. Great interview. Yes, I have. In fact, I think I might have that pulled up. I'm glad you said that, because Tucker Carlson asked Sam Altman about the killing of the one of the board members that died a few years ago, or I think maybe early this year, who was killed. Man, there's been a lot of, I've told you guys, these technocrats are the people to watch because, and I'm gonna find this video. The technocrats are the people to watch because, again, none of this stuff that they're rolling out to us is decentralized. Like they have the market on it. If you guys remember with ChatGPT and OpenAI, China had to humble us real quick when that rolled out and hit the markets. China had to drop NVIDIA real quick to let us know that they have the better markets, the better artificial intelligence model. But I'm saying that to say there's been a lot. Not only has political violence risen in America and in the world, but also tech violence. These technocrats and these Silicon Valley people, these venture capitalists, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Palantir, all these different models and stuff like that. They're very, very dangerous people. And you don't want to put your hands in the life of someone that controls these models. Oh, I found it. It's a 6-minute thing, but all right, here we go. I found it. Good luck, Malik. Good luck. We're on the same page here.
Said you guys were basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Yeah.
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
This
was
fucking please. This is the shit that I'm talking about. This is literally the shit that I'm talking about with these people. There's no way you mean to tell me that the founder of ChatGPT, who has to be a very astute and smart guy and savvy guy, not only smart, but he has to be pretty savvy for you to be able to lobby your tech and all this shit through all these different entities and get it passed through Congress, all this different shit you got to do. Not only is it the model that you got to create, but you also got to deal with the business world. And then you got to deal with the political side of things. You're a very savvy person, right? Sam Altman. There's no way that you're supposed to be convincing me or anybody with half a fucking brain that this person who spoke out against your model said that it was breaching people's data and not paying the board members and all these different things, was found dead. I think like a high-rise building or something was involved, and they're constituting it as an act of suicide. And this was like this Indian Hajib type person. But like, come on, man, like stop trying to sell this to us. It's too unbelievable.
Friend of mine, this is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look like a suicide?
It was a gun he had purchased. It was this is like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a...
Hey, Tucker's funny. You got to give Tucker credit. Tucker's funny because this is him trying to offer some pushback. Sam Altman said it doesn't look like a suicide. Tucker said it looks like he was murdered. Like he was definitely murdered, but I'm not sure it was suicide. That's the question at hand. Was it suicide?
Struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was suicidal. No note and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone. And then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's impossible. Seems really obvious he was murdered. Have you talked to the authorities about it?
I have not talked to the authorities about it.
And his mother claims he was murdered on your orders.
Do you believe that?
I'm asking.
I mean, you just said it, so do you?
Yeah, I do feel for Sam Altman, because do I necessarily think Sam Altman murdered this guy? Like, do I necessarily believe that? Yeah. Like, yeah. But nah, for real, like if he didn't have a hand in it, which I don't think he didn't have a hand in it. And there's more to this story. There's a lot more to the story. Just even the whole OpenAI situation where Sam Altman was ousted from OpenAI. A lot of people forget that the board, they ousted Sam Altman from OpenAI, and then it took a whole act of Congress to get him back into position. A lot of their board members start stepping down and coming out with tweets in support of Sam Altman, and then they reinstated Sam Altman. So this OpenAI model has had a long history of kind of dissent amongst the people, and a lot of that stuff that initially got Sam Altman off of the council was a lot of some principal things about the model of OpenAI. A lot of people were just like, all right, we're going a little bit too far with certain things. He said he killed Sam Altman. That was master journalism. Yeah, it is. That is good journalism, because he did provide some pushback with Sam Altman, and he got him caught up. It is the same as when they asked Peter Thiel about the Antichrist, or if humanity should survive. And Peter Thiel kind of choked up and started glitching. I don't trust any of these technocrats. Because I don't believe that fucking power. And you guys got to remember that there's going to be, I've said on here a million times, there's going to be no checks and balances. Like, we're literally on the life board, at the edge of the life board, getting ready to dive into this whole new world of artificial intelligence. And there's going to be no checks and balances. Now, I know on the other hand, a lot of y'all can say, oh, you can say that about phones, and anytime humans go through some sort of evolution, there was obviously the set of humanity that disagreed with it. I understand that. But if we want to keep it a buck, and if we want to really go down this timeline, we can go down this timeline. The problem with artificial intelligence and great technological advancements is, again, it's usually not decentralized. It usually turns into a space race, a nuclear race. Again, we can look at all these moments in history where humans hit some sort of evolutionary mark, but there is a flip side of that. Like, you think of, let me find the father of, they did a movie about this a few years ago. They did a movie just about what I'm about to say. And I'm going to try to find this interview while I talk. But Oppenheimer, right? If you guys still haven't seen Oppenheimer, you should go see the movie Oppenheimer. But we know it's based off of Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, and, he's as quoted as saying, and they did a good job illustrating this. Oh, I found it.
We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent.
I know y'all, we could barely hear this.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade.
Vishnu's that blue ass god, ain't it? With all these tails and different heads. Shout out to Vishnu.
And to impress him, takes on his multi-armed form.
Yeah, he got like arms.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
So that's Robert Oppenheimer after the creation of the atomic bomb and nuclear energy and stuff like that, quoting the Bhagavad Gita with Vishnu saying that I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. And so this quote is attached to Robert Oppenheimer for the rest of his history. Like, again, this is somebody that we're not even taught about in schools much about, Robert Oppenheimer and his whole story. And my whole analogy to that is the fact that this man was doing what he felt was a great feat for humanity and what was needed to be done with the Manhattan Project, with the secret nuclear creation of the nuclear energy. And at the end, he felt like he became the destroyer of worlds because now everybody on the globe, not everybody, but powerful people on the globe have access to this information and access to this energy, which led to the nuclear arms race. The nuclear arms race when all these different nations, the Soviet Union, China, all these different countries and powerful people started stockpiling nuclear warheads and nuclear weapons, nuclear codes. And that's how we get the new world order that we exist in today. This is how you get what's going on over there in Gaza. And this is how you get a non-proliferatory contract that these countries have to sign. The Cuban Missile Crisis, the Cold War, all of these things stem from him creating the nuclear bomb and them dropping it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's how this all starts. So again, technological advance, yes, but look at the fallout. And the same with like the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, does it have its advances? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Do we have a faction of the government that prints our money and controls markets and stuff like that? And does it benefit the West ultimately? Yes, in some ways. However, our founding fathers spoke out against the Federal Reserve. They did not believe in centralized banking because that is what they fled from in Europe. That's what they fled from in Britain. That's what they fled from already. They did not want centralized banking because the centralized banks were the ones to usher in the Napoleon Wars and all these different things that was going on to make us become a nation in the first place. And here we get the Federal Reserve. And the government, essentially what I'm trying to say is the government has not been able to manage all of these different fractions of itself since the beginning of time. Our government, we don't even know if democracy works as a model correctly. We don't even know this yet. We don't know it because Trump is as quoted as saying, as like with the whole ICE deportation and stuff like that, after getting a call from some of his venture capitalist buddies saying that, absolutely, sir, like we need some of this labor. We need some of this labor. So all of these migrants and immigrants and stuff like that we get all our cheap labor from and shit like that. That has been the constituents of America since the inception. Remember, America has received 310 years of free chattel slavery off the backs of the black man in the first place. Okay. And if you guys remember, a lot of the reason for the Civil War was the abolitionists versus the South. And the South did not want slavery abolished because they feared economic retribution for abolishing slavery. It wasn't just about keeping power and maintaining control. It was an economic blueprint that they felt like was going to be sacrificed because of abolishing slavery. So again, another instance where we don't know really how well democracy as a model works in this nation. Now, we've been around for, I think America's getting ready to celebrate 250 years this coming year. And, you know, we're $36 trillion in debt, as everybody knows. And it's like with 310 years of free labor, with all of the, you know, minimum pay and under the table pay and shit pay that you guys have provided for immigrants, and all these different things that you have done to help stifle your model and prolong your model, I'm not sure that you could even have gotten 100 years, if that, out of democracy here in the United States. That's just me. And that's just a way you got to look at this, that the United States has benefited. They have gotten so much free labor over its history, so much free labor. They have underpaid so many people. Again, the federal minimum wage rate is still ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And then not to even mention the prison industrial complex, where you're getting free labor through prison. You know, where the 13th Amendment was essentially kind of like a trap, you know, for people. It was like, well, slavery is abolished with the exception of prison. You know, if you go to prison, if a U.S. citizen goes to prison, they lose all their rights. And then they work in the prison industrial complex for free. You know, I mean, you can get like cents on the dollar. You can get like 2 cents on the dollar or whatever it is, but essentially for free. So we are still benefiting off of free, cheap labor, whether that be through prison, whether that be through the migrants, whether that be through the down south people that do our sugar plantations and stuff like that. Like, there's still people doing shit like that. And we still reap the benefits of that. And with all that being said, America, she's still $36 trillion in debt. She's still mismanaging her resources and all of the different fractions that she has to manage. She still is mismanaging it. And my whole tirade about that is, we're getting ready to merge AI into a fraction where our governmental body, full of Congress people and senators that are 80 and 70 years old and 90 years old, that don't know what the fuck is going on. They're literally there selling the American people out, by the way. They're there. Nancy Pelosi's making all this money. All these people making all this money. And they don't really give a fuck about the American people. But we're about to give them the authority and the power to be able to manage artificial intelligence. They're supposed to be our watchdogs. The people that are 80 years old, that we know that they don't even know how to work a cell phone. So if they don't know how to work this cell phone and they're all confused about this cell phone, you mean to tell me they're going to be the ones providing checks and balances to Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel with all their technology and all this artificial intelligence they're trying to push on the people? Remember, a lot of this election was based off the fact that the technocrats, these tech gods and these tech people were trying to get behind a certain political party. They were trying to get behind whoever they thought was going to win, which it ended up being Trump. And it was pretty evident, you know, pretty far in, it was pretty evident that Trump was the leading force. So once you've seen that, you've seen the technocrats start to try to get behind him. That's how you got the Elon Musk and Donald Trump relationship in the first place. But they're trying to position themselves to be the winner in the end, no matter what happens. And because if our government falls, they got to fail safe. These technocrats, they already got a fail safe. You got Elon Musk, Mr. Rocket Man, who, like I said, is trying to do space exploration and he's trying to colonize Mars by like 2034 or some shit. You know, you got all these different technocrats that have the ability to you know, and then you got Sam Altman and all these people like fiddling with the idea of uploading consciousness and different things like that, to where, again, if America fell as a country, these technocrats will be just fine. So again, it doesn't even behoove them. They're just only behind America and worried about what's going on in America because we are right now the leading people in this whole artificial intelligence race that's going on. So that's the only reason why they was biased. Not to mention all the subsidies and stuff that we've had and bailouts that we've had to provide for stuff like Tesla and all these different things. Like we've literally bailed them out countless of times. But my entire point is that I don't think that the American people really understand, and that's what this platform is for here. I don't think the American people really, really understand the steps that we're taking and in which direction we're taking these steps in. This is something that should be really constituted and voted on. You know what I'm saying? The American people should have a choice in this whole merging with artificial intelligence, because again, once that ball gets rolling, there's no stopping it. And how in the fuck do we not have a say in merging with artificial intelligence? How is that possible? We got to say about all this different shit, but when it comes to potentially merging with artificial intelligence and having that shit on the streets, the American people have no say. It is not something that can be voted for. Very, 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 very weird. I could go on and on with that, with the military industrial complex and black budgets and all these different fractions that our government has included, the CIA, all these different things that we've included over our history, and we haven't been able to manage them. The CIA is out of control. The CIA is out of control. They overthrow governments, whether we want them to or not. They've assassinated presidents. They've assassinated JFK. Like, this is all the CIA is doing. And the American president has no control over the CIA. They run rampshot over the presidents. And then, not to mention, again, all the black budget projects that they have, where we do our annual annual auditing, and there's trillions of dollars missing at some point, billions and trillions of dollars missing that they can't account for. You know what I'm saying? These go to these black budget projects where you hear about them testing anti-gravitational forces and all these different things that they do without the American people knowing or voting on it. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's another fraction that our government can't control. The list goes on and on. I can think of cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Like, the exposure of our government would have never happened if they didn't even provide us cell phones. You know what I'm saying? So again, has cell phones done its own good? Yeah, they have. They have a lot of good, but they've also uncovered and unmasked a lot of stuff that our government wishes it hasn't done. Also, the internet itself. The internet was a military thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of the CIA. And they then rolled it out to the general public and made it safe for the general public. And then now y'all's asses is grass because we got the internet. You wouldn't even have to worry about hearing my voice if you guys didn't give us the internet. So that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like, every step of the way, we've seen our government mismanage different things, and we want to give them the ability to be in charge of managing technology and artificial intelligence. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's my take. Speaking of like that type of shit, and I got a little under an hour here, so I got to get moving. One of these things is going to have to get thrown out of what I wanted to talk about. I kind of wanted to talk about Trump's deployments, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about Charlie Kirk first. We're gonna have to talk about Charlie Kirk first, this whole situation, just in case I run out of time. I want to talk about Charlie Kirk first. So obviously, as you guys know, and I had a blackout stream on Thursday, I believe, or maybe Wednesday or Thursday, where I kind of alluded to it a little bit. It had just happened. It was a fresh topic going on. But I wanted to kind of do my due diligence and give it some space and time. I don't like jumping on these topics while they're really, really, really affecting the American people at the time. I like to kind of give it a little bit of space, kind of do my due diligence. But as we know, Charlie Kirk on September 10th got shot at 200 yards away with an assault rifle right in the neck. I think it hit his jugular vein, pronounced dead. You know what I'm saying? And it turned into this. It initially you know, it was what it was. Everybody was shocked by the events. It was just like, oh shit, like what the fuck, right? Which is, you know, normal human reaction. But then over the days, it kind of turned into this politicized kind of like idea that's going on. And I've told you guys on the blackout stream that it's a real weird space we're in, to where I see a couple of things. One of the things that I'm seeing is this tit for tat thing going back and forth. If you guys remember, I think maybe a few days before the Charlie Kirk incident, we had the assault on the Ukrainian girl on the subway station. They try to politicize that, right? They try to make that a black and white thing. They try to make that an immigration thing and stuff like that. What's really funny is these things do not, and I know it's very cliche to say, but it's really, really annoying to see that these incidences do not get classified under, we don't like really have a conversation about the mental health stigma on these things. When they make it about transgenders and SSRs and all the, you know, different testosterone, all these different things that these transgenders are taking when they're doing mass shootings. They make it about whether they're black or white, whether they're Democrat or Republican. But it's very rare that we really have the conversation about the mental health aspect going on in the country. Like a lot of these people, well, conspiracy brain here, I don't got my soundboard on, but a lot of these people here are fucking basket cases. That's one. A lot of these people are basket cases. And I know that there's a conversation permeating in society a little bit on the whole idea of mental asylums coming back. And I don't know how you guys feel. You guys could drop a comment on how you feel. But, you know, I know we've done away with mental asylums a long time ago and stuff like that. But, you know, a lot of people feel like mental asylums need to be had again to get these people off the street, but not necessarily have them in some sort of prison, right? And it's just that fine line because, again, how do you act or how do you intrude on someone's national rights as a citizen if they have not committed a crime yet? You know, just because I'm struggling with bipolar disorder or split personality disorder or other different things, if I have not committed a crime yet, how do I then become a part of a mental asylum? So I understand people infringing on different people's rights, and that whole idea with the mental asylum is kind of like a catch-22. But, you know, I do also see the other side to where it's like, well, we need to figure something out. Now, I know a lot of people kind of point to what RFK is trying to do with make America healthy again, getting dyes out of food and all these different things. But yeah, something needs to be looked at with people's mental capacity and their willingness to commit these kind of acts, these heinous acts. And I do want to say that it's very dangerous for people to spread rhetoric that someone deserves to get assassinated due to like political beliefs and stuff like that. That's a very dangerous territory, especially coming from the Black community, in the sense that we've lost a lot of our leaders and activists and stuff like that due to political violence. And it wasn't right then when they did it, and it's not right today. Now, again, and I know you guys probably heard this, you know, you guys been beaten over the head with this. Let me go back to my page to see if I got any comments. I know everybody's been probably knocked over the head with this, that, oh, you know, do I agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said? No. Or some people are saying yeah. But me personally, no, I never had agreed with everything that Charlie Kirk said. There is some things that I did agree with him, and it was some things I was even critical on. It was critical on our community that I agreed with him. And we got to get to a point where we stop being so sensitive to what people are saying about us instead of getting into what they're actually saying about us. A lot of things that Charlie Kirk spoke and other people spoke, they could be easily disputed. That's number one. They could be easily disputed. Now, I do understand, my understanding of Charlie Kirk, I mean, I'm rather caught up on the Charlie Kirk situation. I followed him for a long time. And I do understand that a lot of his movement with Turning Points USA was him going around to college campuses and kind of doing this open debate forum, which is pretty American, right? And I think that's step number one, that you have to give him credit for opening the door for potential people with different beliefs sitting in front of him and having a debate. That is the core foundation of the First Amendment and this nation in general. It's freedom of speech and people not being able to approach or encroach on freedom of speech, because that idea of freedom of speech is that the best idea win, and the American people can vote on it, and that can be, what we move forward with. So him opening the floor for debate isn't the problem, right? I just see a lot of times today, and maybe it correlates to that statistic that I read earlier about literacy rates and just the dumbing down of the American society, because a lot of his arguments and stuff like that was like, you could shoot paper. I mean, there was a lot of hoes, and they were like easily disputable, or at least y'all didn't even get to a point where he was able to make him elaborate more on what he said, or more on what he believed, and more on what y'all believe, because he went to these college campuses who have been hijacked. Let's just be truthful. The college campuses have been hijacked. Some say with Marxist, leftist ideas and stuff like that. But I just feel like I watched those videos, because I've watched those videos way before he died and shit like that, in full context. And some of the arguments that they put up they were very, very rudimentary, very, very elementary, very, very high school. They weren't real, like, to me, college educated opinions or arguing points. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing right there. But ultimately, I just want to say that he definitely didn't deserve to be shot in his neck. Now, he has said some critical things about the Black community. He said some critical things about other communities and stuff like that. And again, you guys got to understand, like, with this internet shit, man, y'all let people rage bait y'all so fucking much. In the midst of you guys trying to protect your, background and your culture and your belief systems and stuff like that, even I know, like, women's rights movements and shit like that, because we get so offended, or certain communities get so offended when another community says something about that community. Now, if that person is saying something about your community and it's based off of statistical facts or information that they receive, the correct thing to do is to be able to combat that with higher intelligence. It is not to shoot people in the fucking neck, okay? Because again, that's a slippery slope that we all don't. That's what separates America from being a banana republic. You guys got to understand what a banana republic is. That is like when coups are being had. That's what happens in places like Cuba and Haiti and different things like that, where there's political assassinations, where ministers, prime ministers, kings, queens, presidents, and stuff like that, they get assassinated. That's what's going on down in Nicaragua and Venezuela and New Mexico and all these different places where you got political leaders and stuff like that literally getting assassinated. And that is not a society you guys want to exist in. So let's just be clear on what we're actually asking for, because again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I don't think that people really would like it when the tides turn. Okay. We got to remember that, yes, Charlie Kirk was a conservative, but to me, he was more of a moderate conservative than he ever was an extreme radical conservative, because I believe that I know of extreme radical conservatives, the gun-toting neo-Nazis that walk down in Springfield downtown and shut shit down with neo-Nazi flags and neo-Nazi signs, and none of you hood niggas with guns that like to turn it on each other and do all these crimes and shit like that. When nobody pulled up and did anything about it, remember they tried that shit in Cincinnati. And the people of Cincinnati, the hood of Cincinnati and stuff like that, they was like, absolutely not. And this is really what gangs and Bloods and Crips was really instituted for, although, the CIA got involved in all that. But they were to protect our neighborhoods from these different militia movements. So when you guys think of real, like, Confederates and like down south, conservatives and stuff like that, those are the people to where it's like their ideology is so sick and they're so extreme that sometimes it does result in some sort of violence with those people. A person like Charlie Kirk is somebody you can have discourse with. You can have discourse with, and I've seen him have discourse, and you could disagree with him. He may not ever come up off his talking points or anything like that, but he's open for that dialogue. And again, the dialogue is more important than the dialogue between the two people is the people viewing it and seeing that dialogue and them having the takeaway on whatever idea they believed in out of that dialogue. That's the whole point of these debates. That's the whole point of this. And you guys got to remember, some of our great leaders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, the writers, James Baldwin, all of these different thinkers of our time and stuff, Angela Davis, a lot of their movements and stuff started on college campuses. You know what I'm saying? It started with that debate forum, that debate model on college campuses and stuff like that. So we just need to be wary on what exactly we're signing ourselves up for when we co-sign political assassinations. Now, I'm not saying people don't have a right to be upset with Charlie Kirk or he said shit that offended him. This whole, moniker of I really, really get upset when men infringe on their rights to bodily autonomy. I understand all that because it's like, you as a man are in no position to really, talk to a woman about bodily autonomy, her bodily autonomy. He said, change the screen. Let me change the screen. Let me stop sharing. Sorry, I got in my rant. Let's see here. I'm gonna see if I can find something on Charlie Kirk. But yeah, so I understand a lot of people being upset, and I also understand Charlie Kirk for what he was, which is a rage baiter. And I mean, if we're being honest, if we're being honest, and again, I don't really like speaking ill of the dead, but if we're being completely honest, Charlie Kirk was planted. He's an industry plant. You know what I'm saying? He is a puppet with a little bit of free range. I've told you guys on this stream here, these people like Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate and all these right-wing social media influencers and even the left-wing social media influencers, they're usually backed by exactly what we just said. They're backed by the conservative party. Now, some people believe that the right is controlled by the Israeli lobby. And here we go. We're going to get into conspiracy land. And the left is controlled by Marxist ideology, but at the hands of a guy named George Soros. If you guys are not familiar, look up a guy named George Soros. He's the biggest donor and lobbyist for that movement. Versus you got AIPAC really standing firm with the right conservative movement. Charlie Kirk was heavily sponsored, and a lot of his donors were of the Israeli lobby. Okay, these were his donors. These were the people that made Turning Points USA. Guys got to remember, he started off with a show, then it became a movement, then he started debating at college campuses and stuff like that. And this person was like, down to his outfit and attire, was bought and paid for. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to speak ill on him like that, but he was literally bought and paid for. And I got a message. My comment section isn't working. I did not know. If you're trying to drop comments on my comment sections via YouTube, I'm not exactly sure where you're trying to drop the comments, but just probably drop them on Facebook for right now. I'm going to refresh the page. Let's see. See if I can refresh the page and see if I can get some comments on here, because that's BS. Give me 1 second. I think the page is still running. All right. Is the page back yet? Come on. I mean, fuck. Damn it, bro. I need this page. Well, I'm gonna send while I'm waiting for this page to refresh. I'm going to send an invite out on this stream. Oh no, 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 no. My stream is down. Like, what's going on? All right, I'm back. My, all right, I'm back. Try to drop comments now. If you guys were trying to drop comments, try to drop comments now. I'm sending out an invite as we speak. Copy link. I might have a guest that tries to get on here, and I would love this guest to get on, especially during this time here. Boom, sending invites out. But yeah, with the Charlie Kirk thing, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's just what it was. You know, it was that a week ago, so I don't want to get up here and act like, you know, this wasn't what it was. This was my understanding of Charlie Kirk a week ago, 2 months ago, a year ago. Is that, you know, he was partially there in the position that he was in to help get Donald Trump in the position Donald Trump is in, which is the presidency. Charlie Kirk had played a big part in that because in that right wing movement, it's usually more of a, as far as age goes, it's usually more of like, you know, we remember this whole red pill movement, right? This whole Andrew Tate, this whole men's anti-liberal movement that popped up out of nowhere, maybe in like 2021, 2022, where it was like all these incels and men speaking out about, you know, men just came out of the woodwork like, fuck all this gay ass shit that y'all got going on. We gonna be about white men conservative shit. Like the foundations of this country, what it's based off of, which is ruling white men. We're going to get back to that. So that's what this right wing movement kind of turned into. And it needed younger people to reach a demographics to get Trump in office. Charlie Kirk was that. Nick Fuentes was that. Like these different, Ben Shapiro was supposed to be that. Like these different people were supposed to be that to kind of steer the younger people into that direction. And that is why you got the results that you got at the 2024 election this year, which was big Republican turnout. I got a guest in the room. Let me fix the model here. There we go. The Hummer Review is in the building right there. What's going on?
What's good?
You got the games on?
Yep.
When does the Dolphins play?
1.
Damn. Yep, I got 30 minutes. Look at Zach trying to drop comments. I was just discussing. Have you been watching the whole time? Not the whole time?
No, nope.
You don't know where I'm at all?
Nope.
Damn. Well, I hate to put you on the front street, but I'm at the crux of the Charlie Kirk. Yeah, the Charlie Kirk situation. So I'll just ask you a question. I'll throw you a little lob. First off, you see Malik Tanksley's on this bitch?
Nope.
Shout out to
Rooster.
Yeah, shout out to Rooster. But how do you feel kind of about, I don't want to say the host situation, but kind of like a fragment of the situation with where we are as a nation with his assassination?
I said this, you said it, and I said it a lot. Slippery slope, man. Slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I've said it a lot, and it sounds crazy because it's Charlie Kirk. But like that might have been the craziest thing we've ever seen in our lives.
Very much
with visually.
Not what we read, but what we seen.
There's COVID, there's other things, but I'm talking about like with everything mixed. The event, the person, the assassination, the video.
Yep.
That was brutal, man. it's a slippery slope because I've seen a lot of people basically say, "Well, good,"
Right.
or yeah,
He deserved it.
They've
Right.
celebrated. He's deserved it,
Right.
and I think that he was Republican racist. I
Yeah.
think that he was probably everything that they said he was.
Moderate. Yeah.
But I don't think people deserve to go out like that.
Right.
Because I saw someone comparing. Someone asked a question. I don't know who it was, but it was on Instagram, and they said it was a black woman. She said, "How do you feel, white people? How do you feel?" And I'm not the typical white person
Right.
where when I don't really care when people say white people.
Right.
But she said, "White people, how do you feel that you seen one of your people dying on camera?"
Yeah.
Well, not assassinating, but just how we've obviously seen a million videos of gun violence
okay. Got you.
of black people
Right.
dying, and they're
Right.
like, "How do you feel about a white?" Good point. My argument would be a lot of people, not everybody. I mean, we've seen cops and we've seen a lot of black violence or black deaths where they were unjustified as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way more than white. I'm not saying that. But in this case only, this is a case by case basis. This wasn't gang violence is gang violence.
Right.
We understand it. We can
Right.
it's not okay.
Right. It's not justified.
But we get it.
Right.
This was a guy debating college kids.
Right.
Who got murdered in front of thousands of people and millions of people on camera.
Based off his ideology.
And that was it. It wasn't that, gang people that
he didn't incite. He didn't incite. Yeah, he didn't incite. No, there was no riot that incited.
No. Yeah. And he didn't push for nothing. That's the thing about him is like he wanted people to be Republican. That was his goal. But he wasn't pushing for, like you said, there's Republicans out there who would be like, "Hey, come the fuck over!" Like really, if they got that big, they'd be inciting riots. They'd be inciting racist.
We know those type that you just said that are not opening the door to sit down with somebody to discuss.
No, it's not even that. I don't respect your opinion enough to even talk to you
at all.
I don't
or your ethnic background. There's Republicans, the hard neo-Nazi conservatives that we're talking about. They're not sitting in front of college kids because you might be black or you might be
Mexican or anything.
They're the ones that are xenophobe. Like they be like.
Yep.
He was not.
And Charlie would have on trans. He would have on black people, Mexican people. It didn't matter. He was open for discourse, which you made a good point the other day in our voice messages of that's literally what America is. So like you can love or hate America, but like America is let the best idea win.
Yes.
That's what it's founded on. That's people act like arguments to have. You think in the Bill of Rights they weren't throwing each other, they're arguing.
That's exactly what they were doing.
That's exactly what they was doing. And they voted and they came to the best ideology. So that's where it gets dangerous, the fact that people are saying, well, good. It's like, well, in this case, you didn't like him and everything. So it's like, yeah, kind of, I mean, sure. But when it happens to someone that shares your opinion, it's going to be hard to cry wolf. It's going to be hard to cry because
and again, like we said about the war and all these other things, once that ball gets rolling, there's no stopping that ball. Mm-hmm. There's no stopping that ball. If we encourage political assassinations and political violence, then again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everybody's gonna be afraid to say everything, and that's what this is leaning towards.
It's almost how for a while now. Remember, people. This is the message of Natural Born Killers, the movie. The whole you haven't seen it, but I don't know if you have seen that.
Yeah. I have seen that, and I've seen your review, but go ahead with your.
The message of that was how we make these murderers and make these
infamous.
We make them. The school shooters, the movie shooters, all these people are infamous. Mm-hmm. But it's never been celebrated. That's the thing. No. It's never been celebrated. But now, it's like we've already got the infamous part. We already got that these people know they're going to be in history. But now people are almost like it gives them another incentive to do it.
Yeah,
it gives them like
if you're the kid that we used to grow up with in school that is lonely, probably on psychiatric drugs anyway, you don't have friends and shit like that, and you see a chance. I do not want to use my platform to even give people this idea, but I understand what you're saying, which is that these people that probably have a little bit of mental illnesses and different things like that,
And
they see the infamy
saying,
of the what's the big one, the Columbine shooters. They see that these guys ended up whether they're written good about or bad about. Same with Hitler, like they're infamous, they're famous. You know what I'm saying? My name will live forever, whether y'all like me or not. So again, if you're a skinny nobody, 80 pounds, you don't got no friends or anything like that, you're already having psychiatric thoughts because of your fucking medicine.
And then you get on social media and see that everybody's like wanting you to, and like they might,
or they're cheering that kind of those acts on, you know. So again, it just opens the door for a dangerous territory. And like I liked your review, and there's direct. I had seen another statistic after your review, and it made me think of your review, where it was like everybody knows this, but it was just the statistic of the school shooting, the amount it has raised since the Columbine thing. It was like none before to like all after.
That Columbine was literally the doorway. By a lot. They
it like opened that idea in people's minds for some reason. Like, oh, we could shoot.
We can like fuck school. Yeah.
And it's like that's that sick. That's that desensitization. That's why it's important. Desensitization and all those different things. Because what the eye see, the brain calculates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And those people, them Columbine people, went down as absolute legends. Them people you just said. Than people who are lonely and don't got friends and are on, depression medication and can have access to guns and parents don't really. Them Columbine people are God.
Yep.
Like that. That was the original.
Yeah, they're the folklore.
That's what really started the floodgates with all of this infamous killings, with all this shit. It was not like that before then at all.
And it's just really it's a scary time, but there's a couple things I want to say before I get off of this Charlie Kirk topic. Is that the other thing is like well I'll put you on the spot. How do you feel about do we think that this was a lone shooter? This was a one-off?
I don't think there has been a lone shooter in any of the cases. Me and you literally since high school have been saying this has all been propaganda.
Yep.
Me and you got killed.
Government controlled.
Me and you have been saying since Sandy Hook that like the day of like the gun laws, and we've been saying there's been
back and forth, both parties back and forth
every time. So now it's just we joke about the fact. We don't joke about the what happened, but we joke about the fact when something happens and everybody it's just like
it's like clockwork. It's like clockwork.
Gotcha again. And then next couple months, gotcha again. It's every time. So yes, I don't believe none of these people. I think that I was having a conversation with Zach. He's like, you think that like just paying him? And I'm like, no, it's not about paying. It's about people in the CIA know who to target. They know they can see certain kids and see who's vulnerable to these senses, and they'll give them information, and they might give them access to certain things, and it's not about I'll give you $100,000. That don't move their needle.
No.
They don't care about that.
And to your point, and I know we won't go down this rabbit hole today, but I know you know about this, but there's something to be said about this MK Ultra shit, which is what that was based off of.
Yeah, it's exactly
MK Ultra was them, like it was first psychiatric drugs.
That's all
Manson and all that. But then the government did MK control, and then they had like control over these people.
Yeah,
and I know that sounds like some movie shit, but like they did that.
Yep, that's the Unabomber. That's documented with the Unabomber.
It's not a coincidence that the Dylan Roof, the one that, or maybe I said his name wrong.
I think Dylan Roof.
Yeah, Dylan Roof was the other dude. Yeah. He was the man of the church. But I'm talking about the dude that tried to shoot Trump. No digital footprint. Killed him. No digital footprint.
Right.
Like I'm saying, no, he didn't have a Facebook. He did like these people that we can't track back and go to their page. Same this dude today, Tyler Robinson. No digital footprint.
You know how easy it would be for those people to just go to certain schools and say, hey, who's been having trouble or who has parents? Like you can look at these people have access to everything, and they can see who has family problems, who's on what medication, who is they understand all of this. It's really not that hard, but from the access that they have.
No, not at all. not at all. And
it's been working.
This particular person, his grandma just came out yesterday and said she absolutely doesn't think, because the story, just for the viewing audience, if you don't know, again, Kash Patel, you suck. Like Kash Patel didn't even catch the dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he was saying they had him before they had him.
It's like no, you didn't. The dad apparently turned him in. You know what I'm saying? So first off, it took the dad turning the clown in, which I could get in that another day, because like that's hard for me to rationalize a little bit. I can understand, but I can't understand. I don't know. Like, did he lock him in the Did he lock him in the basement till the authorities got there? I was trying to read up on it, but like I don't understand. But outside of that, Kash Patel and the FBI director and all that said that Discord, they said that they found Discord messages with the dude and his friends about the situation. Not directly that I'm going to do it, but some things that could lead up to that. Discord came out 3 days ago and said, no, y'all didn't. Y'all absolutely didn't.
Right.
Yeah. And then now his grandma came out yesterday and said, I don't think he never liked guns. I never seen him shoot a gun. I don't know how he did this. Then they try to say,
I hate when grandmas come out, because
I know. It's like, grandma, you wouldn't know.
I'm
a racist SOB. And
you think my grandma knows anything that I mean?
Grandmas are crazy with that shit. It's like, grandma, you wouldn't know. I never heard of politics, because you're my fucking grandma. And I want to kill people. Like, why would I tell you? But what was I about to say? I seen an official like sniper or somebody like that say that it isn't really that crazy, the shot that he got off from 200 yards, but I don't agree with that. If you're taking the grandma's word for that if he was a shooter, he was a beginner. She was saying he's not a hunter, like he's not a marksman at all.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, I don't know nothing about guns really per se, about shots, but you would just think a 200-yard shot to the jugular would be a tough shot.
That's what I think.
That's just common sense to me. But I mean, maybe it's real American.
Maybe not. The sniper dude said that it's pretty average, and it's easy for an actual sniper, but for the average beginner shooter, it's pretty moderate.
Yeah,
he said it's nothing crazy, but I don't know. That kind of shot to the jugular is crazy to me.
What about all the military signs?
Hold on, wait, what?
You've seen the people in the behind Charlie Kirk security.
Oh, yeah.
Then the dude, the signals are so.
The signals
like, he grabbed his hat like perfectly, which means I don't know exactly. I don't want to say nothing wrong, but I've seen the whole video breaking down.
Exactly what the signals mean in Morse code.
Right, and you're right. And he's doing this. The dude did when he let this forearm go and then cross his left. That's the kill shot. And right when he did that, bang! It's like.
And again,
that's a coincidence.
Right, exactly. And it's like, bring those people to the forefront, in the front of the American people, and say, okay, so what were you doing?
Yeah, that's all the video was saying. It's like, Kash Patel needs to investigate these people.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
But that's the thing. That's why it just reeks of government. The reason why conspiracies run rampant is because our government doesn't do a good job at putting out these fires. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to ask you this, and you can tell me what you think, because can they investigate those two people in public? I don't know. I don't know if you can legally. I'm saying the investigation doesn't need to be private. We need to have the American people need to, because I don't trust when they investigate somebody. It's like, well, if y'all's all in cahoots.
What were the name of his security guards? What were the names? I'm just saying that's what we released.
Oh, that's what we need to know. Yeah,
that's what we need to know. Stuff like that. Damn, I lost my train of thought.
No, I was saying that when they do these investigations on these people that are still alive, whether that person is accused of the crime or not, like if you investigate all the people around the situation, like they interviewed the person that asked the question when Charlie got shot. They did interview him. You see what I'm saying? And it's a public interview. But I'm saying these two guys that did all that Morse code shit, when y'all do investigate them or interview them, make it public.
Make it right.
I don't want to read a transcript of what y'all said they said. I want to hear you ask the question, and I want to hear their response. I want to see it, matter of fact.
You saying the reason why the government don't stomp out these conspiracies, man, I'm not going to lie. It's almost like they do shit like this and leave a whole bunch of stuff so the conspiracy is out there. Like, bro, there's so much about this killing to where it's like, come on, dude.
There's so many loose ends.
It's so many loose ends, and it's just like, y'all know we're not dumb. Like, y'all know that by now. It's almost like it's a slap in the face. Like all these things there's talking about. Have you seen the like slow down bullet one? Where like the bullet's like on this side of his chest because he gets hit in the chest and it bounces.
Oh yeah.
So that he gets hit on his chest, he gets a bulletproof vest on, it bounces into that bone.
Up. Yeah.
Well, there's a breakdown video of somebody breaking it down, and like he's getting hit. Like you can on super slow-mo, you can see the bullet hit his chest, and it's on the left side of his body, but it hits his right neck. So it's like they're like angrily.
How does that?
That don't make sense. So I'm just saying, there's so many things. And this was like day one.
Yeah.
From day one, there's already 10 different conspiracies. There's already 10 different things.
Yep.
And it's like,
it makes it too hard. It's the classic case, and the CIA has been known to do what you're saying. It's called not controlled opposition, but something in that field where if someone's telling the truth, if there's a influencer out there telling the truth, you throw a whole bunch of lies out there mixed with one truth. It's two truths and a lie.
Yeah,
it's that game where if you mix it,
split the population up.
Yep. And it's crazy now, real tinfoil hat on, because I know we only got 15 minutes left. How do you feel about the Netanyahu situation with this?
Did you see him tweet again?
Yes.
He just tweeted again about Charlie Kirk. It's
yes.
Like, dog. What? Yeah, I mean, it's the same.
But
I don't know.
I don't know if he's that antiquated on his thinking, like used to old ways that you would make yourself that obvious. But like, dude, you're looking obvious. Or if we're tripping, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, they had the fucking that, obviously the tweet was just weird. Tweet's like, okay, like why, like before anybody, like literally like 3 minutes after he does it, it's like, okay, weird. And then you do a double tweet, which I saw today, but not even that was like, I saw the publications of all the newspapers that picked up the story, and Jerusalem News was like 20 minutes before everybody.
I seen that.
It's just like my thing is like Israel would be doing themselves a favor if they paid someone else like, hey, you go first.
Right,
like, we'll give you the information.
Right. To just clean our hands because we can't afford another point or what
towards them. Yeah, and they just don't care. So I don't know. It's almost too obvious at this point.
No, that's funny because it's like y'all literally would do yourself a favor if y'all just paid another publication to put it out first, or if y'all just didn't say. Well, I can't say they couldn't say anything because then there has to be an in between, right? They would have had to say something, but just don't be the first.
Don't be the first, and don't be looking so scary. The girl asked BB like, people are saying Israel has something to do with this. What do you say about this? He's just like, I can't believe it. Blah blah blah. Why would? And that's when he blamed the Muslims, Islam, and it's just like shocker there. Like
go figure.
Go figure.
And I know you know about the because me and you talked privately about the well, we talked about the Ben Shapiro thing. I tagged you in that. That was crazy.
That's crazy as fuck.
That's crazy to say. And taking over his show is crazy to do and say.
Like how and why? I mean, what?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, especially when he's he's literally them. You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
He's them. And did you see that they put
them, Charlie and him talking?
No. I'm talking about your guy, Jackson. Your guy?
Oh, Hinkle.
He's officially he's on the ADL list now.
I think he's been on that list.
They just ran an article on him. That's all I know.
Oh, okay.
Just like
he's been on certain lists. I know that.
I read the article that they put him on, and I was just like, y'all better be careful, man, because again, it's all cute. Like me sitting on this platform, it's all cute until it ain't. And
Jackson Hinkle don't give a fuck. That's someone who really don't give a fuck.
And I know we was joking, not us, but I remember Tim Dillon and other influencers was joking when like there was like the killings of the journalists in Gaza, like they got killed a few months ago. They've been getting killed and shit like that. People was just joking about like, there's that old classic saying, I don't know if it's Winston Churchill, it was somebody where it's like to silence 100 media members or silence 100 journalists, you kill one.
Kill one. Yeah.
You know, and that's essentially what they're trying to do with this Charlie Kirk situation, which
Like,
is why
hey, this is what we will do.
This is what we will do. If y'all have incorrect ideologies or ideologies that don't align with what certain powerful people may believe, then you might get a bullet in the neck, or it might not.
And you think you're safe in public?
You're not safe nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. And it's really scary. It's
I'm
really,
curious to what Tim Dillon says.
Huh?
I haven't seen his podcast on Saturday. I'm curious to what
I watched it. I watched it. He has somebody. He goes halfway, and then the other half he has somebody on that there's some bombshell shit. It's not good. But one last thing. What was it about? It was about. I just want to tell everybody that it is not coincidence. We'll switch gears off of this. I'm not up here trying to accuse the Israeli government of doing anything necessarily. I'm just here stating the fact that the same day Charlie Kirk got assassinated, the Senate, the House, passed the bill 51-49 to conceal the Epstein files. This, again, guys, to Stefan, is not a coincidence, because I've used this platform a million times to tell you guys how directly the Epstein list is connected with what's going on. It is the key to everything going on. It is literally, the Epstein list is the center of everything going on. If he is a blackmail agent of Mossad, which is Israel's intelligence agent, well, they have to conceal that information, or else everything falls underneath it. If we find out that that's the fact, because they're still disputing that he has any ties to Mossad. That's the big argument right now.
Epstein?
The debate is, who is Jeffrey Epstein? Like, what was his purpose? That's the debate going on. And if it comes out for a fact that he was a spy of them, then that then will wake the American people up to, we are captured by this government. Right. They had a spy over here blackmailing our politicians with sex acts, and that's how they're controlling us. They're controlling us. So we can't say that right now for a concrete fact until we find out who Jeffrey Epstein is. So them concealing this Epstein list is very, very vital for them to keep the blackmail, what they're doing, going on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Also, they passed a bill to contractors. Again, I've talked about this on here a few weeks ago, but it just got passed. Contractors, like, military contractors and different stuff like that, they're trying to pass an anti-Israel boycott bill to where you're not allowed to boycott them. If you're in business, you're not allowed to boycott Israel over anything political going on, like the war in Gaza and stuff like that. You're not allowed to say, we're not sending Israel no more money, or we're not sending them arms.
It's like, you know, that
is insane.
That's crazy. It's like, I'm not going to do what I want. Like, who do you think y'all are?
I think it's like 36 states have a clause to where they have to do business with Israel. They're not allowed to boycott Israel. I never knew that until just a few months ago.
Yeah, that's absurd, man.
That's absurd. Really so it's just these things, and then it's like, y'all want us, y'all get mad and say, it's the age-old canard, it's the age-old conspiracy, we're all controlling, we're all this and all that. It's like, stop doing that then. Stop doing shit like that.
Yep.
So it's just crazy times. I got 6 minutes. Somebody's texting me. I talked about on here, before you go, give me your last 5 minutes. We're going to circle back because I had some comments on this. I know you disagree with me a little bit, but you need to tell the American people what you have in your house that helps with this. But I was complaining on here at the top about the paywalls with the NFL.
Okay. So you need to tell American people what I have in my house.
You need to tell everybody why you're not so concerned about it. Because Malik said it's ridiculous.
It's just not that new to me. That's all.
Wow.
Because that little screenshot you sent, that was going off strictly apps. So if you have cable, Prime has been around for what now? I think since
With the NFL on Prime?
Yeah, it's been around for a while now. 7, 10 years. How long do you
No,
think?
you're talking about the Prime app or NFL on Prime?
NFL
Thursday.
on Prime.
On Thursday night games? That was like the last 3 years. They just did that.
No.
What?
Look that up. No, I don't think so.
Bro, you mean to tell me when we lived together, we weren't able to just watch it on regular cable on my Hulu Thursday night? What? I used to watch Thursday night games all the time and complain.
But you probably have my Prime downstairs.
No, I did not get on different apps. Getting on different apps for games is new.
It might have been like 5 years ago.
Maybe like 5 years ago.
So you have Prime, which is Thursday Night Football. Okay. And then you have now Netflix for one game a year. One game a year if you want to watch that game 1 year on Christmas. That's it.
That is not true.
Yes, but that one thing you was doing, it was breaking down the stream. Like you need the Fox app. You don't need the Fox app if you have cable.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Because there are some games rarely on Peacock.
Blacked out. And there's games, Sunday night games are on Peacock.
Yeah, you're right. But Peacock, they share an NBC thing. So like you can watch them on cable as well.
If you have NBC on cable.
Exactly. Yeah. So like it's not that crazy other than Prime. Like it's not that much crazier than it's 5 years ago, except Netflix, which is one game a year. It's like, dog, if you can't afford to watch that Christmas game, then like
there's more on there.
Bro. I mean, even when you sent that thing, I'm like, no, because they was doing streaming out there. It was like doing Fox Plus, NBC Plus. And it's like, no, if you have actual cable still, that's the thing, though. People don't have cable now. So now if you don't have cable, you do have to have a lot of streaming services. But get cable. There's not no more. You have Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Monday night games are still on cable. Sunday night games are still on cable. You have your NFL games, 2 1 o'clock games, like since we've been born. 1 4 o'clock primetime game. And that's been that. They added Netflix last year for the first time. I can't get nothing
on Hulu.
What do you mean? Hulu Live?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I do know that one of the networks, whether it was Fox or NBC, was having a contract deal with college football, and they weren't playing. So I don't know if that trickled over to NFL too, but they weren't playing certain games that were on Fox. They would just blacked them out.
Oh, yeah, blackouts.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, it's not that crazy.
I think they're about to put everything behind a paywall on sports.
And another thing, the other one is YouTube TV now, which is the NFL package. But like, there's always been that though. But
that's fine because you're getting more.
You're getting every game.
It's not your 10 or 17 games on national cable. It's extra. It's like the NBA League Pass. It's every game.
Exactly.
So like, obviously, that's going to cost a nice penny anyway.
Right.
So.
And the thing is, they made that way cheaper. Bro, when we were growing up, my dad used to get that for DirecTV. It used to be $700. And he would do 3 installments on his bill and pay like $200.
Yeah.
Now I just got the whole package for $130. Like they made that way, way more affordable.
Okay, well, I guess that's all right then. If they made that affordable, I guess they better just watch out. That's all I'm saying. I know the smell.
And once again, as I said, the product's good. So if y'all want to add,
but that's a fine line. That I'm not rolling with that.
No, it's not. Now, yes, if they start doing something crazy to where like they take games off cable, which will never happen. I'm not gonna say never because cable's dying. Cable's dying bad, but not happening anytime soon. Like if they started to like those 1 o'clock games, 4 o'clock game, primetime game, and Sunday night game, I don't see them going nowhere, bro. I really don't. They're just too stapled in American history, and they're still here.
That's what I think until they take Thursday games and then they take Sunday night.
That's the thing. But that's the thing about them Thursday games. Thursday games were newer already.
Yeah, it's an addition.
There was an addition in like 2000 when we was in like middle school or something.
Yeah, it was like 2008, 9.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I remember being geeked about Thursday night football games. And so I'm saying that's not something that's always been around. That was an addition when we was growing up. And then like they signed a deal with it like, boom. And I will say, and even that deal is like you don't, but like I would almost bet Prime is the number one subscription based out of anything.
Prime?
Yeah. Amazon
like
Prime.
Apps?
As far as like just Amazon Prime
Streaming,
is so fucking
streaming.
just not just streaming. I'm just talking about like Amazon Prime is so big.
Oh
Amazon,
yeah.
like everybody already has Amazon pretty much anyway.
Yeah.
You know, because you get this people shop for Amazon today,
Right.
everything. So it's like they put it on the app where like 95% of America
Already
already
have
has
it
anyway. So it's not like they're doing drunk. Like Netflix was a little wild.
I don't
But
like that. I would not
I
like
didn't
that.
like that either. But it
I
was
don't
one
like
game. It was one game.
Christmas
you
game
would-
is ridiculous.
You would have, but it was Christmas game, but it's also Christmas does not. It was a
But
total
it
new
don't
thing.
matter. It does not matter.
How they're trying
It does
something
not
new.
matter.
If they started doing like Sunday football, like games on Netflix, and like
Then you'll be up
adding
and
new
on.
string, yeah, then I'll be irritated. But for now, it's not that much crazier. It's really not to me.
So
Like I
you
said,
just don't fall under me and Malik's conspiracy that it's leading to that. They get you used to something just to put it behind the paywall.
The only way I see that happen is if, like I just said, because cable is done. Like even the cable dude just came over to my house, was just talking about when they're getting this fiber internet, which is like the best internet, blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, when do y'all plan on getting that? And he's like, well, we're trying to get rid of like this is Spectrum. We're trying to get people to get rid of cable boxes.
Yep.
And just use streaming because the access the cable boxes take for the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So when he said, I'm like, damn, cable people are even trying to get cable out of here. Like they
Yeah,
just want people to use the Spectrum streaming app to where like just like kind of like your Hulu.
Yep.
Which is still cable in a way, but like cable from when we grew up. I mean,
poured it with the wires and all that.
It's like and even just like your Hulu, like you don't just get on there and flick the channels.
No,
you get on Hulu to watch a game
for a specific thing,
and then you get off of Hulu.
Yeah,
like you're not just scrolling and recording. Remember, DVR was the hardest shit in the world. Like I don't need a DVR. I've been DVR never in 10 years. I don't care about DVR.
Why?
Why? I don't need to. So. I can see them doing something like that if cable turns obsolete.
So you trust Roger Goodell more than me?
I trust Roger Goodell more than Adam Silver.
For sure.
That's what I do.
For sure. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go. It's 1:00 and the Dolphins is on. And
yep. You about to watch the Steelers?
Yeah. I gotta find a way to watch. Well, actually, I bought that NFL package. They got
Which
me.
one?
I don't know what the fuck I bought, but something with YouTube TV.
Oh yeah,
it was a deal.
Yeah,
and so I got all.
I think your game was on cable. I think your game was on cable today.
That's one of my questions. If I have the NFL Sunday ticket, I think they black out cable.
It's the same thing like NBA Pass.
So I'm not gonna be able to watch the games I want to watch.
Yeah, and that really blows me for real because it's like, bitch, it don't matter who the fuck's on my cable. I paid for the motherfucking pass.
I want
every game. Y'all said every game. Like, why should I have to? That really blows me. But
it makes sense though because then it's like the NFL's double dipping.
They be taking they're double dip. They be taking away
it's like
from
the cable is paying them to have
big
that
money.
Game.
They want them to go over that cable because them cables are paying them big.
Exactly. So
yeah, it makes sense for the business standpoint, but no.
Yeah, it doesn't make me happy because I don't know if I'll be able to watch the Steelers game now today.
Yeah.
And it's going to be 2 weeks in a row because I didn't watch it last week. So whatever. All right, I'm letting you go. How do I get you off here?
All right. He said, I'm Joe Grizzly.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Island as fuck.
Have you finished the series?
Nope, I'm on that. I got 2 more left. Halloween Kills.
You got 18 and 2021?
Nah, I watched 18. I got 2021 and like the 2023 one or something.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So
oh my God. No, the 2021 he got his ass beat. The 2023, I watched it with Zach. I thought that's the one.
There's one where Zach said it was so bad that he like tried to take someone under his mentorship.
That's what that one is. That's what that one is. That's the last one. Like he has a protege. It's like, come on, bro. Like that's done. So you let me know when you watch those ones. It's good.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Switching gears. Let me see if anybody else is on here. People said they can't comment. I might have to come back with another stream Well, I plan on coming back Tuesday anyway, but I really didn't finish the Charlie Kirk thing. I'll have to finish that. I really wanted to talk about the Trump deploying the military into these different cities, or attempting to deploy the military into these different cities. We're just in a crazy time. Chicago, y'all niggas better get your shit together. I know the YNs out in Chicago say bring it on, but man, if this man gets turned loose, man, it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. Now we know that he was able to grandma's BS, and they got pics of dude with guns because his dad, a long time cop, he definitely knows how to shoot. Oh, I'm sorry, Lane. I did see that his dad, and we're talking about Charlie Kirk shooter Tyler. That his dad said he called him like hunting boys or some shit. So I don't know, man. Misinformation everywhere. There's misinformation everywhere. But let me see if there's anything else that. Oh, Shane asked me to invite him. Let's see. Let me go to my notes and see. Oh, so much, man. So much, man. Let me see if Shane wants on. I'll let him on. If anybody wants on, let me know. I'll wait another 5 minutes while I talk about this deployment shit. But you got the mayor of Chicago saying absolutely not. Trump is threatening to send them into Washington. I mean, not Washington, but Memphis. All these cities with the YNs. Every city that you seen the Young Boy concert at, with them niggas going crazy at the Young Boy concert. I mean, them Young Boy concerts almost look like Paul Revere midnight ride. You know what I'm saying? It almost seems like the Coliseum. And now I knew that the young people like Young Boy and all this shit, but the stranglehold this man really got on the young demographics is very, very scary. If he could learn to mobilize and gather these people up, Trump might have a fight on his hand. You know what I'm saying? Our military really might have a fight on his hand. These young niggas did not grow up learning about the Bill of Rights. They did not grow up learning about the Constitution. They can give a fuck less about a congressperson and a senator. They don't even know the position of a president or what a president does. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? The YNs do not care. Like I said earlier, the literacy rate is through the fucking toilet. These people don't know. They don't even know. All they know is they're young, they want money, there ain't jobs, and there ain't a lot of resources. So they out with skinny jeans, Ethica underwear, and they mad as hell. They're fucking each other, and they're shooting other people. And I mean, I'm joking, but they're really, these YNs have gotten the short end of the stick. It's all you whores out there who have, made all these babies out of wedlock. And Chance got a song called No More Old Men. And in No More Old Men, we talked about on here, he talks about the effect of a society that has a lack of OGs. And I've said that we don't really understand the long-term effects of the crime bill and the 80s crack babies. We're seeing that manifest itself today in today's society. The father not being in the home, no male authority, no male role models and all that shit like that. No OGs, no men growing super old and being grandpas and shit like that. Also, you can get into like the war, the castration war that's been going on just through microplastics and testosterone levels. And it's a whole fucking thing out there. The Iran-Contra affair, the CIA dropping drugs off in the 80s into the neighborhoods, and the hip-hop police. All of these different things lead to the degradation of our communities and our societies. And we are seeing it now with the YNs. These YNs who've never known, a lot of them don't know their father. Their young single mother raised them. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, my sisters out here be doing a damn good job. They be trying to do a damn good job putting on, and raising whatever kid that they got, working. but it's too much of a job. It's too much of a task. And unfortunately, a boy needs a man at some point in his life. We talked about that on here. A boy is going to need a man. A woman cannot raise a man. She can raise a boy, but she cannot raise a man. She can't. And now there's always exceptions to the rules. So please don't get on my stream with your fucking story of what you did or your sister. I don't give a fuck. There's always exceptions to the rule. I understand that. But I'm saying generally, when you look at our community as a whole, a lot of it is in results to the father not being in the home. That is true. You know what I'm saying? Whether the father is in prison or whether the father has succumbed to being murdered or whatever the reason may be, or the father just don't want to be involved in a situation. That is the birth of these YNs. Let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? Now, we all know the stigma of people that come from 2-parent homes and live all right. When they get into the hood and they're trying these things like a Ja Morant or Alonzo Ball and they're pretending to be a YN, everybody snuffs them out. Everybody's like, nigga, you come from this. Like, which, if that's the case, if we're able to snuff those people out, that means that there's something about YNs that say fatherless. That's what we're saying. When we see people from 2-parent households that were raised good try to be a YN, we're like, it smells like bitch in here. It smells like a nigga pretending. So on the flip side of that, that means the actual YNs, they are raised fatherless. That's what that means. Or guideless. Maybe it's they don't have a mother. My point being is that these YNs, they don't give a fuck. And young boy got him at the pulse of his hands. He could, if he was able to mobilize, he could turn these YNs loose. And I'm just saying, man, y'all better clean that shit up in Chicago. Y'all better clean y'all's act up in Memphis. Ja Morant, you think that Adam Silver came down on you in the NBA. When Trump unleashes these demons on y'all, I don't want to hear anything. Y'all better clean these streets up. It's just the fact of the matter. This isn't me shitting on y'all and trying to be funny or anything like that. I'm literally telling y'all for y'all's Springfield. Dayton really hates Springfield. I'm a strong bitch because I can't be a landlord. I don't know what that means, but I'm really trying to tell y'all for y'all's best interest, man, because this man is seriously debating militarizing the National Guard and sending them to streets to clean this shit up. A lot of this is on the backs of the cashless bail movement, which happened, a few years ago, where a lot of states now, are letting people out on the streets without providing a cash bail. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people who have committed heinous crimes. Even the situation with the man stabbing the Ukrainian woman. Apparently, he's had like countless of warnings and been let go. He's also had some mental issues and stuff like that too. But again, Trump, y'all are giving him the ability and the silver lining, or y'all are giving him a reason to be able to militarize the streets. You know what I'm saying? And we do not want to get to the point where the National Guard and the troops and stuff are being deployed into the streets. That is lawlessness. That is literally a banana republic. So not only do we have cases of political violence and assassination attempts and all these different things, the next step is literally coups, man. When you read into social studies and governmental bodies and politics and geopolitics and stuff like that, we are teetering on the steps of overthrowing a government or a government falling. We're literally right on the precipice of a government falling. Okay. They tried to, what's the word I'm looking for? They tried to censor free speech. First, it started with the woke movement, right? We started pointing out everything that was going on. It started with protests and riots and chanting. The people wanted change. The people wanted change. The people wanted change. Then it started with they, hijacked the woke movement. Then it started with censorship with COVID. They censored people's speeches on social media platforms. They literally kicked people off social media platforms, which is a direct attack on our First Amendment right. Then we get assassination attempts. Then we've gotten a rise in political violence in the 2020s. I mean, through the roof. You see what's going on over in France. You see what's going on over there in Paris, and all the Europe and United Kingdom just had a 3 million man march. I think 3 million people marching on the streets a few days ago. There's protests and stuff like that all over. And so political violence has soared through the roof. You think of Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare, getting assassinated. You think of the Minnesota senators, the wife and husband and dog that got whacked off. I mean, the killer, he didn't leave no room for nothing. He killed the wife, the husband, and the fucking dog. He said, all y'all niggas gotta go. And you see the overthrow of Haiti and the immigration crisis and stuff like that. So I'm just saying, like, we're inching closer and closer. And now we're seeing, political violence based off of ideology. So these are all the signs and traits of a coup. This is what happens before a government is overthrown. And Olympus has fallen. And I'm just saying that military actions on the street is another indication of that fate. You know what I'm saying? When you see military actions and troops and stuff on the streets, that is the course for civil war. You know what I'm saying? Like, history does have a real karmic, cyclical nature in it, where it somehow repeats itself some ways. And we are just like sleepwalking into these things. But the big kicker in all of this is, like, we're doing all this shit that we've done before in history, with governments being overthrown and falling and stuff like that. We're doing all that at the same time that we're about to merge with artificial intelligence. So that is where it becomes a little bit different. And that is the interesting point in this part of history. If the history book is being written and we're on this chapter, this is really the turning point, and the real historic turning point for something brand new to come. We very much well could be. He said, no word on Poland is madness. Lane loves Poland. Okay. Lane loves Russia and Poland. Like, there's incursions going on over there in Poland with the drones flying over into their territory. We know that that Ukraine. Well, first off, we got to see. Russia has denied this, by the way. Russia has denied flying the drones into the Poland area and stuff like that. They said it's another Ukrainian lie. I think, look, Ukraine is trying to lobby more American dollars. We know that they passed the bill that we have to spend $1 billion in arms. Ukraine wants us to spend more money. This is all a money laundering scheme. It's all a money laundering scheme. Zelensky cannot receive any more U.S. tax dollars. Okay? No more tax dollars. We're done with that war, Lane. We are done. If Russia wants to take Ukraine, have at it. We're done. We can't give Mr. Actor himself, Zelensky, more dollars for money laundering. He is an agent of BlackRock, okay? And these are cash land grabs, and he just wants more and more money to launder. So, I mean, seriously, I'll cover the Poland situation, Poland, Ukraine, in Russia. I know there's excursions going on off the coast. I know Poland has reported that the drones have flown in their aerial space. Russia has denied these claims. I know that Dagestan, I knew that the red lines had been drawn a month ago when Putin came over and met with Donald Trump. And we haven't heard much out of that area since. I know that there was some military actions taking place a few weeks ago, still in that area, another bombing of buildings and stuff like that. But as far as our chess piece on the board, like on what we're going to do for that area, we haven't heard much. And the reason why this war is so stale. This war is like the war. It's like it's literally 3 to 4 year old chewed gum. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've chewed on this gum for 4 years. They need to come to a resolution soon because, well, first off, Russia is winning this war. That's the thing. Russia has completely they've outmaneuvered Ukraine, not only Ukraine, but the United Nations in general this whole time. You know what I'm saying? The initial red line and the initial wants of this Putin administration is being met now in negotiations just 4 years later. He told them what he wanted and what he didn't want and what would happen if they did X, Y, and Z. And that's where we're at today. Lane says, so delusional. Are you not able to drop comments? I'm inviting you. I'm sending an invite. I'm sending an invite to my guy. Come talk. Come talk. He said, we've heard so much in the last 48 hours. Well, let me know. Let me know. I mean, we've only been distracted with everything going on in our country in complete upheaval, in a state of psychosis where people are, half of the country is celebrating an assassination. The other half of the country is turning somebody into the white, flat-faced, big gum Martin Luther King. You know, I don't know who to trust. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's going on. I know on one hand, we got this weird movement of Charlie Kirk becoming flat-faced Martin Luther King. And then on the left, we got Charlie Kirk becoming the George Floyd for us. It's just a weird place that we're in. He said, I cannot drop comments. Get on my stream. Like, if you don't want to get on and educate everybody on what's going on, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm giving you another second to get on. Get on. I sent an invite. Anybody can get on. But yeah, again, back to what I was saying. He said the invite ain't working. All right, give me a second. You ain't pulling up, fool. Stop that delusional shit. I'm sending you an invite. Something realistic. Shoot. All right, we'll see if the boy gets on. But yeah, I'm just saying I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot with, we're not out of the woods with the Iran situation. Israel, the E1 settlements have begun. Again, I talked about the Israeli lobby in our country and what's going on as far as the anti-boycott bills that are being passed. Also, the Epstein list being concealed. And then, you know, Israel is still marching on territory over there, still bombing Sudan, bombing. You know, I seen that we have bombed Somalia 75 times this year. 75 times, a record. The previous record was 2019. It was 63 times that we bombed the nation, and we have shattered that by 12. And we're just literally bombing these people back to the Stone Age. It's insane. Lane says it's not working, so I'm going to close up. Steelers game is on. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I am sorry that the comment section wasn't working. A lot of people was texting me, telling me the comment section wasn't working. They had a lot to say. But, you know, this will be posted on the channel, so you guys can comment below on the channel when this is uploaded. I knew my shit wasn't loud enough. But, yeah, I thank everybody for tuning in. I'll read one last thing. Zach did have a comment. Zach said, Charlie was always civil, calm, and respectful. His questioners, not always so. So Zach definitely loved Charlie Kirk. He used to watch him on his breaks and stuff like that. So just crazy times. Everybody be wary. Be careful what you're asking for. And y'all really need to see the bigger scope in everything that's going on and how somehow it's all interconnected. Keep an eye out on Alien Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, guys. They are the big players in all this. Do not continue to fall for the left-right bullshit, the all these war campaigns and all that. Understand that there are people. We have overlords now. We have technocrat overlords who are trying to position themselves in authority, whether governments fall or not. They are trying to remain in a powerful position. That is what you guys need to watch out for. Stop letting this reptilian-looking Peter Thiel try to enact Palantir onto our country, which is police surveillance. Stop letting Sam Altman with OpenAI try to upload consciousness, and then stop letting Elon Musk do all the bullshit Elon Musk is doing. He's in all these different avenues. I'm so glad we kicked his ass out of the White House. But you guys keep it out of your